The Nerlin Nerds podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Pulpery Media presents Nerlin Nerds with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the pop culture topics that interest us and those minor details that irritate us. So,
rest in peace, Sly.
Yeah. I mean, other people have other stories. I remember I got into him, when I was like a freshman in high school, same time I was getting into like George Clinton and P-Funk and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Sly had an integrated band.
What it was, not to cut you off, is hip-hop at that time, when you were younger,
it
was like, where the fuck did that come from? And then you did the research and you connected the dots and went, now I need to listen to these guys.
Correct, yeah.
That's how I ended up finding Sly.
Yeah, I was just, you're exactly right. Yeah, because they were using a bunch of P-Funk. They were using a bunch of...
that's all fucking Snoop Dogg's album.
Cool in the Gang before they did 80s pop.
Correct.
Yeah, Dr. Dre lived off of Cool in the Gang, but yeah,
exactly.
Sly...
And then you go, like, you didn't have internet. You just had to figure it the fuck out. That was early days of internet, I guess.
Yeah, which is... Yeah, if James Brown was Black Power, Sly and the Family Stone was, I mean, they were preaching what the San Francisco hippies were talking about,
right?
Like everybody getting along, and again, integrated band.
It's like Public Enemy and De La Soul.
Yeah,
yeah,
and the part I always remember about Sly's music was. He produced everything, let alone play keyboards and guitar at times. But his bass player was one of the first that I ever heard that he had him use distortion on the bass. Or maybe there was something fucked up with the amp or whatever, but it was a very...
It was consistently fucked up.
Yeah. Or it was a very farty bass. It was very gritty. Yeah. Like similar to what Dude at Soul Coughing whipped out in the middle of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and I still couldn't figure out what he was doing. I guess he had a pedal somewhere that I couldn't see.
So back then, I don't know if they had a pedal for bass players.
Probably not. He was just probably a fucking.
But just something small like that just shows you like part of his overall message and shit like that. But then to go into that minutia of like, no, I want fuzz on my bass player.
Yeah.
Like. So he was, and that...
God, I love fuzz on... Well, I mean, that's the music I listen to. So
yeah.
All fuzzy.
But that's what...
Slow.
Yeah, to what we were saying off mic, he wasn't as crazy, but he was kind of like a Miles Davis of funk.
Yeah.
Like, just very controlling and knowing exactly what he wanted.
Said it. Parliament, P-Funk, George Clinton, whatever you want to call it. Bootsy.
Well, the mothership, yeah.
Rick James, like that whole... group was one funk, and he was he was a hippie funk. He was just
they
chill.
played at Woodstock for, I think, if I'm correct. So, but and eventually there is. I haven't watched it in full yet. Questlove did a documentary on him. It's on Hulu.
Really?
And about like Summer of Love and how they were like the black band playing in a bunch of those festivals. So, but yeah, go check it out. Yeah,
that's what it was.
One of those quiet titan of rock and roll that's passed on with, we'll see how much fanfare he gets, but
80-something years old.
Yeah.
82.
Yeah, they'll do like a second at the next Grammy Awards for him.
The in memorandum.
But so that douchebag in jumpsuits can scream and do backflips off of pianos. Anyway.
Yeah, what was that guy's
That was
name?
on your Alexa when I was when I came over for Money in the Bank.
What was his name? Oh, speaking of, fantastic transition.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't remember who that was. It doesn't matter because you can't see him anyway. Money in the Bank was fun. It was like it's not Money in the Bank like it used to be, where it was like considered a giant show. Now it's more just like a solid B show. 5 matches, a tight 3 hours.
Yeah.
Perfect. 2 giant ladder matches.
Yeah, I feel like it's now become like pushing the envelope on ladder matches.
Yeah, and then
it's your ladder match main event every year that you can count on,
Right.
and it's not a specialty match.
You're gonna get that, and then it sets up storylines for the entire year. Whoever has the briefcase, blah blah blah. The women's match was great. They wrestled a safe but effective match.
Yeah.
I say safe when there were a couple times we both went, "Oh my god!" and women's heads were like this close to just destroying themselves on ladders,
Yeah.
doing suplexes and shit.
Which we've been talking about it, well, since we've made heavy rotation with WWE, but the women, in many cases, are becoming far better.
Yeah.
Are becoming the premier matches versus
Yes.
what you see in the men's.
And we're
and-
going to talk about it in a minute with Becky Lynch and Lyra.
yeah.
Valkyra.
But
I think that's how
the-
you say her name. Like, they put on a fucking banger.
Yeah, but women's ladder match, my hat's off to every one of those
Yes.
women in there, and that they all threw caution to the wind.
Yeah. Safely.
Was it Alexis
Alexa Bliss.
Bliss? Yeah.
Yeah.
We thought she should have gone to the hospital. She was dropped on her abs straight onto a ladder.
Yes.
from,
And the
like-
ladder's sitting like this.
Yeah.
Like, straight up and down.
Yeah,
And she's so small she couldn't get her hands and feet down to block it.
yeah.
Never heard that she was hurt or anything.
No, and
Tough bitch.
took a powder for
She
like
did.
5
5 minutes or so.
got right back in the ring.
And you could see her like on the ground. Oh my god. And then
Yeah.
well done.
I mean, like, I'm out for 5 days if I stub my toe.
bro, I could fall off the first rung
Yeah.
of that ladder and be in the hospital for a month.
And, granted, I'm sure it wasn't her head hitting, but when Fakir did was it the Devil's Kiss, is what they call it?
Yes.
But
To Rhea Ripley?
Yeah,
Oh.
supposedly slamming her head, but, like, other body parts are hitting against that ladder.
You're on your hands and knees
Yeah.
on a ladder in the air. And not the ladder you're supposed to have it. No, like this way.
Yeah, sideways.
These fucking women are crazy. Stephanie Vakir is awesome. She wrestled Friday night at SmackDown.
She's about to possess the whole wrestling world.
She already is.
Yeah.
Saturday she wrestled twice Saturday.
Correct, yeah.
She wrestled at the...
Did she wrestle at SmackDown, too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she
3
did
matches.
in 2 days.
No, in less than 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beast. Chad Gable, excuse me. Chad Gable did not do it. Americana did.
Well, he lost at
Worlds Collide.
but yeah. But then
Americana lost
yeah,
the ladder match.
correct.
He's so good at what he does. He really is. Yeah, Naomi winning, it fits the character. I'm okay with it.
Well, and I think like we were talking about, that's going to play out with the King and Queen of the Ring playoffs.
Yes. Yep.
Because I mean, you can just smell it. Like if Jade Cargill gets close to something, or Cargill goes through an all-out brawl
What about
and gets the belt,
Bianca
then,
Belair.
yeah,
Like, there's so
that's
much
right. Yeah, because
storyline
like
built in there.
Naomi's beefing with both of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And she's like unhinged at this point, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
They can make everything really interesting.
Yeah, Rhea
Yeah.
Ripley doesn't need it. I was a little salty that she didn't get a whole bunch of spotlight in the match, but I understand why. Because if she was out there, she'd just destroy everyone. So they had to treat her like Brock Lesnar,
Yeah,
right? And bury her and like, everybody gang up on her.
but also, I mean, kind of her style doesn't fit a ladder match.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
With
yeah.
having half the ring cut off.
Right.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah,
if
that's
she,
not her forte.
no,
she-
she's
well-
taller than everybody, so it would take her way less time to.
I would
there's-
assume she's going to dominate Queen of the Ring.
I think
Yeah,
so. I
Yeah.
mean, could you Queen Mommy?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
But you probably get her and Jade in the final would be my guess. Yeah, like two Amazonians.
I mean,
going
and
at it.
they have to give Saudi Arabia like the biggest matches because they take so
They-
much
they
blood
bought 'em.
money. Yeah, exactly. Watch, the World Cup may end up there,
Yeah.
right? Or Qatar again.
Well, it's already going to be in Saudi Arabia next round. So, Anyway,
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about that. We'll talk about that in a
what are
minute.
we? Men's ladder match.
So Dominic wrestled
Yeah.
Octagon, which is fine. They only wrestled for 4 minutes. By the way, the women wrestled for like 23 minutes, and the men wrestled for 33 minutes. Their
Yeah.
ladder matches. So, and then Lyra and Becky wrestled for 16 minutes or so. Dom won doing Dom things,
Just good.
and he is a fucking genius, and he's like 22 years old.
Yeah,
He's
I
the
mean,
best luchador ever in history, and
well,
the best
and
intercontinental
he works
champion.
the skeeve so well.
Oh, he's so fucking good.
Yeah,
So good.
it's
And he can wrestle.
It's fun to it's fun to hate him.
Yes, it is, but
It's,
I like him so much.
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean the
hate him.
crowd loves him. He got the second biggest pop, I think.
Yeah, and
Of
they
the whole
hate
night.
him.
Yeah,
Our
exactly.
Truth got the biggest pop.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert. So Becky and Lyra wrestled. Wrestled. This is their second time, so they got one
Yeah.
more match
yeah.
for their trilogy, and they're good. Their chemistry's great. They obviously work well together.
Well,
Becky's-
and Becky went feral at one point.
yeah, she
which-
did, and then Lyra had to do it after the match.
Yeah.
Which perfect. Move on. Great.
Yeah.
The men's ladder match. Wade Barrett is the MVP of the evening. Like, I'm gonna need Wade Barrett on every single wrestling show ever in history.
What does he do?
is
He does
so-
SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is so fucking good. He's really good at like playing that heel role like Bobby Heenan did, but
Well, I would say this is that particularly at Money in the Bank, the highlight was, and again, that's a skill, is that he talked more than Pat McAfee,
right.
but he said such crazy shit, like Pat McAfee was in his zone of like just throwing out those one-liners
Yep.
that were fucking brilliant.
And then Wade Barrett would
Yeah,
yes.
come right back on
Yeah,
it.
and then
It was a
Cole
great little buddy cop.
and Cole was there to just call the action.
Yeah,
It was fucking brilliant.
it
Well
works
done.
so well. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So Seth won. Surprise. It was fun how they got there. Solo Sikoa is the most unserious human being on the planet,
That's true.
and I fucking love it.
Him mocking Penta was
Penta,
beautiful.
as if he hasn't already, as he's had his coming out party.
Yeah.
He will be, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could give him the title at some point. I think he'll be tag team champion with his brother again soon. Ray
Oh
Phoenix.
yeah.
Because they're both superstars. Penta, man. That dude's going to sell so many masks.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the role called of like the guy who puts on a great match but typically loses?
So that's usually a workhorse. That's
Yeah.
Randy Savage
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah.
They've gone. Oh, like
I could see Penta being that,
Yeah.
I mean, who was the dude I thought of? I was thinking of, or what Finn Balor is doing now.
Exactly.
Like you come out and you put on a great fucking show, but you've got no chance of winning.
You're there to eat the pin.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I don't know if I see him as. I mean, yes, in a timeline he could be world champion. I
Yeah.
just don't know how it is now, and he's not uber young. Anyway, he had a good show.
I like the tag team stuff.
Fatu finally turned on Solo. That should be a fun program.
Yes, yeah.
Seth Rollins and the two Bronze are unstoppable. We're not going to get to talk about John Cena yet.
We'll have to do it on the back end. But I mean, again, well, I'm a homer for Seth Rollins, so
He might win the championship tonight.
yeah.
I said it when he won it. I was like, watch them hotshot that title to him. Unless they want to drag it out and Seth could be his obnoxious Seth Rollins with it.
Well,
Plus, you get a lot of mileage out of Paul Heyman carrying it around all the time.
I mean, I don't think anybody knows and anybody can postulate what it's going to be, but the following segment has been brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. The Nerla Nerds podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion. Marketing by Brock Ryder. Graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion. Music by the Heisenberg Compensators.